Good morning, I hope you had a wonderful Easter. Welcome back. It's felt like a long 2 weeks, that Easter break, hasn't it? Don't know about you, but I've eaten way too much chocolate. I'm dressed like this because I'm about to go for a run, burn off all some of that chocolate I've been eating and keep the old dad bod at bay. This is not Mr. Birch's basics, this is Mr. Birch's mega basics. So you guys spoke, I listened. I'm gonna go right back now, different target audience if you like. And address some of the real mega basics. Those basics which are kind of the underground of my maths pyramid. Okay, the bits you don't see, but if you don't know them, you can't build on it to get it right. If you've not been in my lessons at school, or you've not been or seen these, been doing or seen these videos before, this is how they work. In a few moments, I will put up the questions. There'll be 10 questions. Those 10 questions will be the same for the next 5 days. Obviously not exactly the same style of questions, but different numbers within them. You will obviously pause the video, you will attempt all 10. Now if you can't do them, don't worry, that's what this is about. This is about you making sure your basics are strong, but also learning some independence and resilience skills as well. So you attempt all 10, you'll then unpause the video and the answers will appear, the answers will be there. You mark them in a green pen. What I will then do, let's say you've got 5 or 6 out of 10, fantastic. What you then do is you'll watch the rest of the video. And on the questions you got wrong, on the questions that you're not quite sure about the technique, the method, you'll watch that particular question. You might have to pause it, rewind it, watch that question a few times. But what's really important is that next to your workings, or if you didn't even attempt it, just next to the question that you've written down, is that you annotate, okay? You use arrows, and I'll go through that, kind of the key things you need to be putting next to that question. Okay, so what that means is tomorrow and the following days, you'll be able to look back at the previous day's work and remind yourself, okay? And what hopefully you'll see is, let's say there's a question that you couldn't do today. In 2 or 3 days' time, you won't have to look back anymore. You will look back for the next couple of days, but let's say on Thursday, I don't need to look back anymore. You can just do it, okay? So we're trying to master those basics. Really, really important you make good quality notes. It's all about the notes, okay? So, 10 questions will appear in a moment. Give it your best shot. Don't worry if you get things wrong, it doesn't matter. You get 0 out of 10, well, that's absolutely fine. It means you can make some really good progress over this week. Do ask your parents for some help as well. If my explanations aren't making much sense to you, ask your parents to watch it as well. Okay? Best of luck. Welcome back, I hope that went okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through each of these questions one by one. Remember to kind of pause it, rewind it if you weren't sure. Obviously you can skip the questions. If you went through a question and that was easy, you can just kind of skip that one, skip to the next question. Remember to have your different colour, ideally green. If you're in my lesson, do you know like a green pen? Have a green pen ready to make good quality notes. So the first question was 200, add 5, add 0.5, add 0.06. So what I'm going to do, really important when you're adding, is to line things up, okay? Line the decimal points up. So I've got 200, I've got 5, so there's my units there, 5, there's my decimal points, so that's 0.0, 5.0. I've got 0.5, 0.5, and then I've got 0.06, okay? So I'm just going to fill in my blanks here, okay? So all these are zeros. I just like to fill in all the blanks with zeros so I kind of know what's what. So if I add this column up, it's got a 6. This column, it's only got 5. Put my decimal point in. This column's only got 5. This is all zeros, and this is a 2. So your answer is 205.56. Okay, so if you got it wrong, the notes you're going to write now are line up your decimal points, and then fill in anything else with zeros and add each column starting from the right hand side. Okay, obviously if this one here went above 10, okay, you then carry the 10s over to the next column on the left. Okay, next up is 75 times 28. Okay, so 75 times 28. If you've never seen this method before, well, I'll be surprised because this is the method we all like to use within the maths department. But one of the biggest mistakes people make with this method is actually lining up, getting a good quality grid, okay, lining up the squares, okay. So I'm going to do diagonal lines here and there. So what I do now is I do 5 times 2, okay. 5 times 2 is 10. Got my tens and units. 5 times 8 is 40, my tens and units 40. 2 times 7 is 14, 14 tens units. 7 times 8 is 56, tens and units. So now to add up each of these diagonal channels. So in this channel here, I've only got a 0. Here I've got 4 and a 6, which makes 10. So I put carry my 10 to put my 0. So I've now got an additional 1 in this channel. So I've got 1 add 4 is 5, add 5 is 10, add 1 is 11. So I put the unit and I carry my 1s. 1 add 1 is 2. So I've got 2, 1, 0, 0. 2,100. Okay, so again in green, if you've got it wrong, that's what you need to be copying down into green. Okay, and once again, 5 times 2 is 10, tens units. 5 times 8 is 40, tens units. Tens units, tens units. Add up the channels for your answer. Good stuff. Question 3, simplify. So I've got 3a, add a, add a, add b, add 2b. Okay, so simplify means you collect the like terms. I like to make this kind of as obvious as possible. So I'm going to underline all the A's and circle all the B's, just so I know kind of what's what. So I've got 3A, A and A, and then I've got a B and a B. Remember, you always take the sign to the left. Okay, so that's a positive A. That's going to be a positive 3A as well, because it's not got a negative there. That's a positive A as well. So I've got 3A, add A, add A. Now, I like to pretend these are apples, for example, okay, or aardvarks, or anything beginning with A. 3 apples, add an apple, add an apple. If you want, there's only one A there, so if it makes it easy for you in terms of your workings out, just put a 1 there. 3 apples, add 1 apple is 5 apples, 5A. My B's, B, so there's 1 B there, add another B. Okay, so bananas, 1 banana, add 2 bananas is 3 bananas. Okay, and 3 is a positive 3, so it's plus 3B. 5A, add 3B. Okay, so in green, underline the A's, circle the B's. Okay, so 3A, add 1A, add 1A is 5A, 1B, add 2B is 3B. That's it, we're done. What's next? If x equals 4, work out the value of 4x minus 2. 4x minus 2. So if x equals 4. This is substitution. Okay, so 4x, whenever you have a number with a letter next to it, it means multiply. Okay, this means 4 times x. So if x is 4, it's actually asking you to do 4 times 4. That means 4 times 4 minus 2. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. Take away 2 is 14. Okay, so I'll say that one more time. A number with a letter, 3a, means 3 times a. So if a was worth 2, I'd do 3 times 2. Okay, because x is worth 4, this means 4, lots of 4. 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, so they're the notes you need to be making in green. Remember, a letter in maths, with algebra, is an unknown number. Okay, it's an unknown number. Round 6,450 to one significant figure. So one significant figure means you have one number and anything else will just be zeros. Okay, so I have one number, the rest will be zeros. So there's my first significant figure. It's followed by a 4. Okay, so the rule is, excuse me, if it's a 5 or higher, this rounds up. Okay, if it's less than a 5, this stays the same. Okay, so 6,450, this stays the same, so it stays as a 6, and we know the rest just have to be 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, the other way of answering is the question to ask yourself here is 6,450, is it closer to 6,000 or 7,000? Well, 6,450 is going to be closer to 6,000, isn't it? Okay, done. solve x, add 6 equals 14. So remember, we want to get the x's by themselves. At the moment, they've got this positive 6. Okay, so the notes you're going to be making now, if you weren't sure how to do this, are we want to get the x's on one side of this equals and the normal numbers on the other. At the moment, we've got x's and normal numbers here. Okay, that 6 is just a normal number, these are x's. I want to get rid of the normal number, I want to get rid of 6. To get rid of it, you do the inverse. Inverse means opposite. You do the opposite operation, okay? So, what's the opposite of add 6? Minus 6, take away 6. So I'm going to minus 6 from this side. But what I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm going to minus 6. So your note so far, get the x's by themselves by doing the opposite operation to your normal numbers. But what you do to one side, you do to the other. Because opposite of add 6 is minus 6. Because I've minus 6 from this side, I have to also take it away from this side. So 6, take away 6, means it disappears. And I've now got that x by itself, which is what I wanted. 14 minus 6 is 8. X equals 8. Okay? So you may need to pause that one, rewind it and watch it a couple of times to get the notes written down in green, so you're going to attempt that one independently next tomorrow if you didn't get it right today. Find the missing numbers. 5, 8, that's a missing number, 14, and that is a missing number. So let's look for the rule. Try and see if we can identify the rule. So 5 to 8, how do you go from 5 to 8? Well, you add 3. Okay, so if I add 3 here, this is going to become 11. And if I add, so there we go, add 3. If I add 3 to here, yes, it is 14. So I'm happy that the rule is add 3. If I add 3 again here, 14 add 3 is 17. So your answers are 11 and 17. Okay, so what you do with these sorts of questions is that you try and identify the rule and then you test it out. Next up is expand. 3 bracket 4x add 2. So one of the first notes in green you want to write here is expand means multiply. Okay, expand means multiply. So you're going to multiply what's outside by what's inside. So you're going to do 3 times 4x. 3 times 4 is 12, and then we've got our x's. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so all you do is you multiply this by this, and then this by this. Done. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay. So expand means you multiply. Okay, what's outside by what's inside. Next up, 4 kilometers equals how many meters? Kind of common sense question. Kilometers, kilogram, kilo means 1,000, a K means 1,000. I remember that because if you go and buy a car, someone will say, oh, how much was your car? Oh, 20k. Cool. That's expensive. 20k, K means 1,000, 20,000. Okay, a bit of a slang term there. It helps when you remember it though. So K means 1,000. 4,000 meters. So the answer is 4,000 meters. Okay, so 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. Okay, 6 kilometers would be 6,000 meters. So you need to know in green, 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. 4 times 1,000 is 4,000. And I remember that because the K means 1,000. Okay. What is the 5th square number? So you need to ask yourself, what is a square number? So if you don't know that, in green you need to write now, square number equals a number multiplied by itself. Okay, so a square number is a number multiplied by itself. So we've got 2 squared. 2 squared means 2 times 2. 3 squared means 3 times 3. 4 squared equals 4 times 4. This one's the 5th square number. So it's simply going to be 5 times 5. Okay, so the 5th square number, okay, 5 is the 5th number. Okay, so 5 squared, squared means times by itself. You should have written that in green, means 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So if I said, what's the 10th square number? Well, 10 squared is 100. The 12th square number, 12 squared is 144. Okay, 9th square number would be 9 times 9, 81. Okay, right. There we have it. That's the first 10 of the week. Disappointingly, I'm not wearing any Reeboks today. I'm wearing my grubby old running shoes, so I do apologise. I did actually order some more as well, which my wife isn't really happy about. So give those a go. Ask parents for some help should you need it. Obviously, you may not be doing as much work over Easter. We wouldn't have expected you to be doing the same amount, in all honesty. But it's really important now. It is a school day. You get back into a routine. Remember, you can do too much. So if you're one of the people I've been hearing about, you're spending 8 hours a day and you kind of trying to do a week's worth of work in one day, don't. Okay, difficult times. You need to get the balance right. If you're one of the people who are, being a little bit difficult, a little bit stroppy and kind of refusing to do any work, well, you really are damaging yourself. If you're not going to do any work, you're going to come back in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, who knows how many weeks' time, but you're going to be a little bit behind. Okay, you're kind of going to be damaging yourself. So if you're into a routine where you're kind of fighting with your parents, I don't want to do any work, it's probably just become a battle of wills and you're being stubborn for the sake of it. Don't. Okay, you're only damaging yourself. Okay, so please do, try and do some work every single day. Try and keep in some good routines. Remember the benefits of eating healthily and having exercise as well. Okay, right. Sun's out. I'm going to get out for a run now. Enjoy the rest of your day.